My name's Kat, and I'm a personal development researcher, or to use the more official term, self-help junkie. And I've forgotten my words already. This is absolutely amazing stuff. Now I've remembered them. That's probably the main reason why I had mixed feelings when something particularly traumatic happened to me in my personal life this time last year. A few weeks before Valentine's Day, my last boyfriend broke up with me. Thank you. It hit me hard. Mainly because I thought I was the one who was going to be doing the dumping, not him. And I was pretty annoyed when he beat me to it. Anyway, emotional heartache aside, a few days after the deed had been done, I realised this was a prime opportunity to engage in some investigative research. So I trawled the internet for tips on how to survive a relationship breakup. I catalogued every strategy I could find and decided to work my way through them one by one in a year-long project called You've Been Dumped. It's the complete and unabridged analytical report. It currently stands at 44 pages and counting, and that's not including footnotes, appendices, or graphs plotting revenge. If I decided to share all my groundbreaking insights with you, we'd be here all night. So instead, I'm just going to share some selected highlights, or should I say lowlights, because actually I'm just going to share the most rubbish dumping tips which I encountered during my research, which I'd recommend you avoid at all costs the next time you get involuntarily consigned to the emotional scrap heap. So here goes. Rubbish dumping tip number 1. Try a little retail therapy. I went crazy and splashed out on a mug for 99p from a charity shop. Sadly, it didn't give me quite the buzz I was hoping for. So I thought, why not combine tips number 2 and 3, spend a little extra on yourself, and carve out some me time by taking a day trip to IKEA to get some new pots and pans. Big mistake. Somehow I inadvertently managed to choose Valentine's Day as the ideal date for my solo excursion to the consumerist temple of marital bliss. All I ended up buying was an extravagant set of exceptionally sharp knives, which was no doubt my subconscious response to my murderous thoughts of being confronted by all those canoodling couples in the crockery section. Rubbish dumping tip number 4. Replace all your bedding to remove bad bedroom energy. Worst fucking tip ever. I still don't understand exactly what went wrong. All I know is that despite checking and rechecking the dimensions of my mattress and duvet, I still managed to buy the wrong size of sheet and duvet cover 2 sizes too big. By the time I'd realised my mistake, I was too tired and angry to trek all the way back to shop to get them exchanged. So actually I'm still using the ill-fitting bedding now, and somehow not quite managing to achieve that luxurious boudoir look I was going for in an attempt to lure the new lovers in. Rubbish dumping tip number 5. Reconnect with old friends. Easier said than done. On one occasion I rang 12 separate people in a row and no one picked up the phone. Didn't even ring me back. I thought, well, okay, I'm not having much luck with human beings here. I might as well turn to comfort food instead for a quick pick-me-up. It couldn't be just any old food, however. Had to be food containing lard. Yes, you heard me correctly, lard, as in pork fat, or if you prefer, rendered pig blubber. It took me a while to realise that lard has actually been my significant other for some years now. And it was only through fully embracing our relationship that I've managed to experience less heartache in my life. I mean that quite literally, because there's no scientific evidence to suggest that consuming lard leads to an increased risk of coronary artery disease. So, unlike human beings, lard won't break your heart. Rubbish dumping tip number 6. Get a massage. I did actually manage to book an appointment. However, a week before I was due to get my massage, my skin started to turn really itchy and I was getting red blotches on it, so I thought, I've got to Google my symptoms. The internet told me I'd contracted bubonic plague. I wasn't amused. I was pretty confused actually, because I hadn't been playing with any infected rats recently, so I was like, where did this come from? Anyway, I wanted to know just how close to death I was, so I went to the doctor, who laughed in my face and said, chill babe, it's fine, you've just got ringworm. And for those of you who haven't heard of ringworm, it's a highly contagious fungal infection which spreads like wildfire through skin contact amongst children in tropical climates. Do I look like a child? Do I live in a tropical climate? I don't know. Go outside with a bikini and come back and tell me. I mean, obviously not, so no idea where I got that from. Anyway, it took a month to clear up. By that time I had to cancel the massage appointment and I couldn't be asked to make another one. Rubbish dumping tip number 7. Learn a new language or skill. Strictly speaking, I sort of cheated on this one because the language I chose to learn was Swedish. My mum's Swedish, so I've been exposed to it quite a lot already in childhood. That said, my only active vocabulary up until last year was the phrase hem till mig och dig. Please excuse the pronunciation if there are any native speakers in the audience. That means your place or mine. Admittedly, this was actually quite useful given my freshly single status, but I thought, why not branch out, broaden your repertoire, and learn some other proverbs? After months of intensive study, the only one I can remember is this. Det ingen ko på isen, så länge rumpan I land, which means there is no cow on the ice, as long as the buttock is on land. Great, useful in any situation. It's basically a really convoluted way of saying no worries. But it did inspire me to create my own phrases, which would be more applicable to my own everyday life. So here's some I made earlier. En rumpan på land är värd 2 på isen, which means a buttock on land is worth 2 on the ice. And en ko rumpan I ungen är värd 2 på isen, which means a cow buttock in the oven is definitely worth 2 on the ice. Because no one likes a frozen butt cheek, regardless of whether it's attached to your own arse or intended for consumption. Yeah, unfortunately, it seems like I've given you a catalogue of disasters so far, but it wasn't all bad. There were actually some pretty good things, which I discovered, which none of the so-called breakup experts seem to pick up on. My personal favourite is this one. Top tip number 1, do not on any account leave the house at full moon. Why not, Andy, you ask? Because you'll bump into your ex, guaranteed. I shit you not. We only bumped into each other 3 times after we broke up, but every single time it was full moon. And that got me thinking. I was like, this is really weird. And the more I thought about it, the more it dawned on me that whilst we'd been living together, my ex had actually been behaving quite strangely. I mean, he never left the house in daylight hours, and the only sounds emanating from his room were like this strange, melancholic wailing. I've just been putting that down to him being a gigging musician and a singer-songwriter. But after these more recent encounters, it occurred to me that actually my boyfriend was not a normal human being. Instead, I'd unwittingly been going out with a werewolf. Suddenly it all made sense. Like the horrible morning breath and excessive facial hair, which I just put down to him turning into a hipster. Sadly, that's all I've got time for tonight, but I sincerely hope that some of these tips have been useful to you, and that you know which rubbish tips to refuse the next time you get dumped.